Trust me.
I do. If you can't tell, this is the Deuce Ace movie review for Avengers Endgame.
I'm Deuce.
I'm Ace, and this is Deuce and Ace, Bro to the Movies. Alright, so we just saw Avengers Endgame last night, and oh my goodness. I'm just gonna jump in. Best Marvel movie ever, best superhero movie ever. It's my top 2 favorite movies, and it ain't number 2.
Yes, I have to agree. This is not going to be one of those videos where we argue back and forth. Just pure endorphins, pure ecstasy. This movie is everything. So as always, we're going to start off with the spoiler-free review. Give you our scores, and then we're going to, spoilers galore. There's a lot of stuff to talk about in this movie. So again, up front, you're welcome to watch. It's going to be spoiler-free. But then when we get to that point, we'll let you know. Spoilers, if you have not seen the movie, pause the video, like, subscribe, share, and then come back when you do watch the movie. So this video has a special place in our heart because it was after Infinity Wars where Deuce and Ace Bro to the Movies was spawned. Ace really enjoyed Infinity Wars. I really didn't enjoy it, and we debated for about 2 hours.
2 hours over the span of many different days. I would be at his job. We would just be sitting there yelling at each other, debating the plot points of Infinity War.
Alright, but this is Endgame, and we're here to talk about Endgame. The Marvel Cinematic Universe has 22 movies in, 10 years, 11 years, starting with Iron Man, and culminating with this masterpiece, Endgame. This movie, just like Infinity War, brings all the Avengers together, brings all the other minor and major MCU characters in one film to again fight and take care of Thanos.
Yeah, it's just a roller coaster of emotions in this film. After Infinity Wars, you were sad when Spider-Man died. You were sad when everyone got dusted. But mini spoilers, to see them living in the world where half of the world is gone, where the decimation has taken place, it was just a very poignant. Is that the word?
Poignant.
Very poignant, and just very good acting. It was very much a character-driven movie. Whereas Infinity War is more event-driven and action-based. This had some good action in it, but it really gave the characters their time to shine. The actors knocked it out of the park. Robert Downey Jr., A+. The Chris's, Evans, and Hemsworth, A+. Scarlett Johansson, A. Jeremy Renner, A+. We just go on and on about how good the characters were in this movie.
Characters were great. The homages played to the MCU as a whole, and again, this movie picks off right after Infinity War. It's literally a continuation, and so we see the consequences emotionally. We see how they try to fix everything, and it's just, it's beautiful. It's a masterpiece. Like nothing like this has been done before in history. So kudos to the Russo brothers. Kudos to the writers, what are their name? McFeely and
one of them, Marcus or Steven or something.
Pause. Stephen McFeely, Christopher Marcus, they put an amazing story together, and it's just so many characters, this movie is all over the place in a good way, and they did a great job. Kevin Feige and Feige we trust. One of the only negatives I have to say about this movie is it ruined me watching movies from here on out. Like, you're never going to have this again.
Yeah, Marvel they have changed the way that we experience movies. Like, you've seen sequels, you've seen interconnected worlds, but never before have you felt like you have to go see every movie. Like, I was going to see every comic book movie anyway, but now I feel like I'm missing out if I don't see every little detail, every little character interaction. It's just, and to see it all pay off in such a way, it was like a love letter to us, the fans, for sticking through with the MCU for all these years.
And the love letter to themselves, you could just tell that we obviously know they know what they're doing, but they cared about the story. They cared about the stories of past movies. Like, just again, we're getting into the spoilers, but little side characters that come up, it's just, it was just a ride. Yeah.
Let's talk about the music in this movie.
Alan Silvestri, he came up with the Avengers theme. He's back again.
Yeah, the Avengers theme, epic, very, very present, but also just the score in the background, the highs, the lows, the swelling of the music. It feels like you're going on this magical journey as you're watching this movie, and it really hits you in your emotions, in your feels.
Definitely. And let's just talk about the origins of the movie. These are comic book movies, and there's scenes in this movie, like, comically, haha funny stuff, or just the panels of superheroes fighting that are very comic booky. Like, there's stuff in here is like, what? They actually did that? Or like, oh my gosh, like, look at all, like, it's just, this is an homage to the MCU. It's an homage to every movie in the MCU. It's an homage to Marvel, and just the different panels that have been laid out in times past. Like, it's like watching a comic book unfold right before your very eyes. Great movie.
Amazing movie.
Excellent movie.
Outstanding movie.
Supreme movie.
Superb movie.
Great movie. But I think they want to know our score.
Yeah, they want to know.
On the count of 3.
1, 2, 3.
9.5.
Alright, for an average of...
Pause from that. 10.25. That's the average. So
10.25 out of 10. That's how good this movie was.
Yeah, so the 10 out of 10, let's just say 10 out of 10.
Round to 11.
Yeah, I enjoyed it, don't get me wrong. I'm not, it wasn't perfect. Nothing is perfect, but definitely average of 10.
I mean, it wasn't perfect, but it was as close to a perfect movie as I have seen. Yes, there are maybe a little plot hole here or there. It may be, something, like, I can only think of one plot hole throughout the whole movie, and it did nothing to take me out of the movie. It was just kind of a, something that needed to be done for one of the characters.
There are little moments that you can kind of guess, but there's so much uncertainty. Like, I was on the edge of my seat, reclining chair, so as edge as you can be.
This dude was falling into his seat.
My chair was broke, not because of me. It was pre-broke. But it's just like there were parts where my gut was wrenching. Like it's oh my gosh, the feelings. As he said, the feels. Like this movie, like when you think it's gonna go one way, it's going the other. When you think it's oh man, what could happen? It blows it out of the water. This movie's just a great movie. It's a great MCU experience. It's a great culmination, but it's just a great movie.
Definitely a great movie. Definitely emotional. You may not be able to tell from these reviews, but I don't get too emotional over most things. But I shed a few tears during this movie, guys. It's that good. It hits you right in your heart.
All right, so we've given the brief rundown. It's a great movie. 10.25 out of 10. Spoilers. If you have not seen the movie, stop watching. Don't get mad at us because we're about to talk about this movie.
Like and subscribe. Drop a comment down below. Go to the Twitter @BroToTheMovies.
Share it. Subscribe. All that. Okay.
Looking for sponsors.
Great.
Oh man, just the cold opening of the movie. Hawkeye with his family before the snap. I mean, right there, his family's about to die, but you see him. You see the love he has for his family. And then the silence. He's like, where's my daughter? You just see the dust floating away. Right from the jump, you're like, oh man, this is going to be a sad movie.
This is that movie. And now they did the same thing at the end of Ant-Man, but it just didn't have the same emotional effect. Like Scott's in there and, in the quantum realm. And yeah, we know that the Pims got dusted. And it's like, oh man, what? But seeing Hawkeye, just, again, Civil War. No, Age of Ultron?
I don't know. What are you trying to say?
When we see he has his family and
Ultron.
Age of Ultron, and it's like, okay, Hawkeye has another life. He's not just some assassin, heartless. There's something that anchors him. And to see that go away and, Jeremy Renner, acted that scene out perfectly, and it just set up the whole tone of this movie.
And I think what it was, why this one hit so much harder than the one at the end of Ant-Man and the Wasp, is we can see his reaction to it. What really gets me about everyone living post-decimation is that how people are reacting to what happened. Not that people are dead. Yeah, it's sad. But seeing people try to move on, people try to have a life, and just to see how broken down people have become, it really got me for some reason.
Oh yeah, I mean it's emotion all over the place. You get to see, and the actors, not all the actors, and this is not a negative, but I'm gonna say, Robert Downey Jr. kills it. Him and Pepper have a daughter, Morgan A. Stark.
If you've seen the movie, you know.
Yes, and so after the decimation, he has something to now live for that he didn't have. Chris Evans kills it as Captain America. Chris Hemsworth kills it with the comedy and the comedic chops that they introduced in Thor Ragnarok. As we talk about moments that catch you off guard, he let himself go. He kind of went from Ace to Deuce. And
Glad you think I'm built like Thor, thanks.
Ace with muscles, and he's Fat Thor with dread beards, and it's cool, like it works.
Yeah, and I really want to touch on this Thor piece because you see him wallowing in his lowest point. He is depressed, and it makes so much sense because even though he did what he wanted to do, he killed Thanos. It's meaningless to him.
Whoa, hold up, man. We talk about emotions. You talk the bomb that he killed. We gonna get to that. We gonna talk about the boom scenes. Well,
Okay, so he's at his lowest point. He has failed as a king, even though he's trying to move on. His new Asgard on Earth. It's just see him in such a state. It's just again, man. It's so emotional. Thor is my favorite Avenger, the strongest Avenger. But just to see him like this, it's just kudos to Chris Hemsworth for his job, walking the line between comedy and melancholy so well.
And I think the best of that is when he's with his mom. Clearly, he's still doing the comedic stuff again. We're jumping all over the place. But
kind of like them traveling through time.
If you've seen the previews or things online, time travel, quantum realm is a thing in this movie. So yeah, he's with his mom again. Frigga, is that her name?
Yeah.
Frigga. But he's with his mom again, and that conversation they have is so real. Like, I never even thought of his mom in the first two Thor movies. Like, she's just a side character. But, like, that interaction, that emotional connection, and just, what she told him, it's just like this movie is full of that. But Scarlett Johansson, again, I think Black Widow, Scarlett Johansson was her best in Civil War. That's ideal, Black Widow for me.
I'm going to have to take a hard disagree on that and say she was her best in The Winter Soldier, where she was doing...
What did I say?
Civil War.
Oh, no, I meant Winter Soldier. My bad. Yeah, I think that was the best Scarlett Johansson until now. She, again, there's so much emotion. Like, you care... Not that you didn't care about her before, but she was kind of a minor character, kind of relegated to the sidelines. But on an emotional level, like, ScarJo. I cared about Nebula. I ain't never cared about Nebula before.
I cared about Nebula more in Guardians of the Galaxy 2 than in this one. She was also just kind of there for plot reasons.
Well, I agree she was there for plot reasons, but it made you care about it story-wise.
It could have made you care about it story-wise.
Yeah. Let's see any other characters that really stood out, just on a character level.
Paul Rudd as Ant-Man, he's just doing his funny thing. He's one of the characters who didn't lose everything in the snap. His daughter survived.
Which was emotional, and
yeah.
Well, I mean, he kind of lost his boo.
He didn't lose everything.
Well, yeah.
And it was emotional to see him come back from the quantum realm, see him go to the house and see... if you don't know, there's a time skip. Everyone's 5 years older at this point in time. And see him meet his now teenage daughter and just...
Which, pause, she's like 8 in the Ant-Man and the Wasp, and now she's like 18. But anyway...
Yeah, they're playing fast and loose with these rules. But just to see their reunion, it was just so heartwarming. So that and seeing Tony Stark and his family were the two bright spots in the world post-Thanos.
Yes. Now, we're going to pause the emotion talk, because there's obviously a lot of emotion come to end. But come the end of the movie.
Come the end game.
End game. But yeah, so tough. All right, so I'm gonna start with my big. Well, this is not my favorite moment, but the biggest moment is when Thor straight decapitates Thanos. Like, you know, I'm watching the movies like, oh man, they're in space. Captain Marvel's here. Yeah, you know, she's strong and stuff. Like, oh man, what? And then Thor just...
It was insane. We're just sitting there watching the movies like, oh!
Like, I wish I could rewind the movie theaters, because I was like, whoa, did that just happen? Like, did they just go there, dog? Like, what?
And that's when you knew that this was a game-changing movie. I had no idea what was going to happen after that point.
Yep.
And, man, even seeing Thanos after he's destroyed the Infinity Stone, seeing him in his broken-down state, he believes he's victorious. He believes that he is inevitable. And we believe it too. We say, what can the Avengers possibly do to stop such a madman? And it's just great movie all around.
Great movie. Chop! Alright, man, so what's the next big scene, man?
I mean, well, after that point in time, it kind of the middle part of the movie.
5-year jump.
Yeah, it's a 5-year jump. We talked about Scott coming out of the quantum realm. Then the middle part of the movie is all the quote-unquote time heist. And this is just pure, unadulterated fun. You see them going back in time, back to the Battle of New York, going from Guardians of the Galaxy 1, where they got the Power Stone, to Asgard to get the Ether. It's just, a lot of fun seeing them interact with past iterations of Avengers and Guardians. But then we get to the scene on Vormir with Hawkeye and Black Widow. And major spoilers, this one got me, dog, when Black Widow sacrificed herself for the rest of the team.
Did not see that coming. Like, all the talk before is like, who's going to go with the big three? Thor, Captain America, Iron Man. Thor, Captain America, Iron Man, and then Captain America, Thor.
That is indeed the three.
And, man, I was, for whatever reason, I thought they were both going to be able to live. Like, oh, Hawkeye, you lost your family, so here's the Soul Stone or something. But, man, Black Widow taking the L for the team.
And I thought it was beautiful how both of them, they wanted to take the L for the team. They're like, no, you got to live. No, you got to live. But in the end, Black Widow, Scarlett Johansson, Natasha Romanoff, she said, hey, you still got a family. The Avengers are my family. Let me sacrifice myself for them. And eyes got a little watery.
Not really a cool scene. I mean, it's cool. And again, this is where we go into the very comic booky character, Professor Hulk. Like, there was no transition. There was no, like lead up or showing the change. The CGI is cool. Is a lot of Mark Ruffalo coming through into Professor Hulk. And it's just a scene where he's just at a breakfast table in a diner somewhere, eating eggs and sausage, and is taking pictures with kids.
And dabbing on the haters. Professor Hulk is pretty woke. That rhymed. But I enjoyed seeing Professor Hulk, but it felt kind of unearned. Because of, the movie deals with Universal, they can't have their own Hulk movies. So he kind of had his own side story throughout Thor Ragnarok, Infinity War, and this one, where it's a battle of control between the Hulk and Bruce Banner. And all of a sudden, they're just, okay, we accepted each other, we can live together. And it just, I enjoyed it, but I wish I could have seen it instead of having it off-screened.
Yeah, because prior to this, he's just Bruce Banner. Then they explain it, but it's just like, wow. And it's just takes getting used to, mentally. But enjoyable nonetheless.
It was just all so good. We could talk about every single scene that happened in the movie. I mean, we glossed over some of the time heists. Man, seeing...
Time travel, man.
Time travel is crazy. Seeing Tony Stark going back in time, talk to his father in the 70s. Just getting some perspective on, now that Tony is a father, just seeing him, interact with his father, about to become a new father. Seeing my man Captain America going back there. He didn't even get a chance to talk to Peggy Carter, just to see her through the glass, very emotional for him, reminding him what he's lost on his whole Avengers journey.
And speaking of Peggy Carter, nice tie-in to the Agent Carter series, 2 seasons. I know most people don't even know what I'm talking about. Great show. But Jarvis, the British actor who played him on the show, he was Jarvis in the movies. And I was like, oh man, nice tie-in. Would have been nice to see some Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. characters, 6, 7 seasons strong, but I digress. But yeah, just so many like moments. You know, the Battle of New York, the ancient one, the straight wrecking Shatari and stuff. The elevator scene from Captain America: Winter Soldier. Agent Sitwell, Crossbones. Captain America's like, I'm not doing this again because guess what? I already know you're Hydra. Hell Hydra. So it's just, oh man. Any other time travel scenes that were just like great?
I mean, it was just all good to see, seeing Loki escape with the Tesseract, and now there's an alternate timeline where Loki just has the Tesseract.
Yeah, Loki is funny. It's just, this movie, again, masterpiece. Just well done, put together. But enough about time travel, man. I'm ready to talk about
the big moments.
The big moments.
The biggest of moments.
The biggest of moments.
So they finally make it back out of time. They have all the Infinity Stones, and they're like, "Where's Black Widow? She dead."
She dead.
So then they're like, all right, we're gonna put all the Infinity Stones on this little gauntlet. It's like an Iron Man hand. Like, all right, who's gonna wield it? Thor, drunk all the time, like, I'll wield it. They're like, eh. So then the Hulk has gamma radiations.
Kind of weird. I mean, we guess he could recognize gamma radiation, but why does it have gamma radiation?
It doesn't make sense. Like, they just wanted Hulk to do it.
Yeah.
So he does a snap, and he snaps. And as he's snapping, we see evil past Nebula in the present.
Wait, pause. We got to describe. As he snaps, because this leads to... So as it snaps, it destroys him. Like, he can take it, but it's destroying him. Just, kind of like it did Thanos. And you can see, oh man, only Hulk could have done this. But as you were saying, Nebula.
Yeah, as he's snapping, we see Nebula manipulating the time travel machine to bring...
And this is evil past, now present Nebula.
Very confusing. It's to bringing Thanos and crew. The Black Order. You got Black Dwarf, Corpus Glaive, Proxima Midnight, Ebony Maw, they out here. You got the Shatari, the Outriders, the whole army is coming, and so Hulk, he does a snap, and then Hawkeye, he gets a phone call from his wife, and you're like, oh, it must have worked.
It did work. Yeah. He gets a phone call from his wife. You see Ant-Man, and I guess, there's lack of hummingbirds and foliage after the decimation, but he's looking out the window and it's like all bright and sunny, and
the music is swelling.
It's like
there might have been a hint of the Avengers theme in the background.
The Avengers did it, and boom!
And that just open fire on Avengers compound, and here you think the deaths are gonna start coming in. A Rocket Raccoon is trapped under rubble. He's crying out, "Help me, help me!" War Machine, he's popped out of his War Machine suit. He's crawling. It's not funny. He's already crawling along because his legs don't work. You think he's gonna die. You got Professor Hulk holding up the rubble, and then the Infinity Gauntlet is like gets thrown somewhere. So then Thanos, he comes down, he tells Nebula, go get the gauntlet. And he's like, what are you gonna do? He's like, I'm waiting.
And my man, I don't know if it's a rock or a chair, just straight sits. Like, just sits down. I'm Thanos.
And who is he waiting for? The big three. Captain America, Iron Man, Thor.
Fat Thor.
And we forgot to mention when Fat Thor was talking to his mom that he tries to summon Mjolnir from that time, and he gets it. He's really like, I'm so worthy. So I'm like, oh man, he's gonna be out here dual wielding Stormbreaker and Mjolnir. He's gonna be going ham, and it begins.
It begins. So the three of them start wrecking. Thanos is like, I'm inevitable. Like, y'all weak, y'all some butt sauce. And so they just start wrecking, boom, boom, boom. Like, he's messing up Tony Stark. He's messing up Captain America. They both out there, and Thor, dog. Thor with his dreads and his beard. The lightning is wrecking Thanos with Stormbreaker. Mjolnir gets thrown to the side. He's just wrecking him, causing the lightning to strike. And it's at this moment where you're like, oh man, they about to kill off Thor. Come on, they just got him right in Ragnarok. Like, don't kill Thor. And so then you see Mjolnir move off to the side.
This is the scene.
This is the scene. This, to me, the best scene in the movie, best scene in any comic book movie.
Possibly best scene in cinematic history. It is so iconic.
Well, I think it's only iconic because you're investing in the characters. And
okay, and that's a testament to the MCU, to Marvel. That's why they're already up here when other movies start down here.
Very true.
Can't even see my hands.
But so who's moving Mjolnir? It is the worthy Captain America. Mjolnir in your left hand, shield in your right hand, and he
reverse those.
No, he's like
he's on the show like this.
Well, he starts wrecking. My man starts flying. Hold up, my man got Mjolnir in the building. Boom, Thanos, boom! He summons the lightning of Thor. He shoots that joint at him. He jumps, smashes him with the lightning, and puts in that work.
You're energetic over here, dog.
Dog, that's it, dog.
And it's amazing. They teased it in Age of Ultron that Captain America may be able to lift Mjolnir. We know from the comics that at times he does. We've seen Vision do it. But man, oh man, when we see
Steve Rogers, Captain America, a.k.a. Big Poppy, with Mjolnir, baby.
And him wielding Mjolnir, it is just the ultimate catharsis, dog. You see that and you're like,
Google that word. I had to.
I know y'all know what it means.
Just.
And even with the might of Mjolnir, Thanos is still on even terms with Captain America. Then he starts beating Captain America, and you're like, man, what could they possibly do to stop this guy? You see the Black Order, the whole army, they're fighting, and then it's this one scene, you know, Thor's strewn over there, Iron Man's over there, and Captain America, he cinches up his shield straps.
You seen in the trailer, like, yeah. And it's like, oh man, they about to kill Cap, bruh.
If you watch Game of Thrones, it's a scene from the Battle of the Bastards where Jon Snow is facing up against the opposing army by himself with a sword. It is Captain America standing alone facing the coming horde, and then you see it.
You see it.
You see the little orange sorcerer circle.
Doctor Strange, baby. Out comes Black Panther,
Shuri and Okoye. And then the movie theater went wild. They're like, "Big Bomb, and you're like, oh man, we knew the snap worked, but now it is time. And then you see
Hulk snap work. He brought everyone back.
And you just see these huge sorcerer circles coming out of nowhere, and every character is coming through.
Doctor Strange, Wong,
who ain't do nothing for 5 straight years, finally back in this piece.
And he got like a horde of sorcerers. Warlocks and Spider-Man and the Guardians of the Galaxy. Bucky.
You got the new Asgardians coming through. Valkyrie leading the charge. You got Wasp. You got literally any character you've seen in the MCU who's not dead. They came back. They
came back, and so it's just the bad guys versus the good guys, and then Captain America, as the leader he is, comes to the forefront. Avengers assemble. And straight melee, dog. Like, oh my gosh, like just seeing all the characters highlighting all their powers. Like, I remember when Civil War was amazing. Like just seeing like 6 dudes like fight each other. Oh my gosh, the Russos, dog. Bon appetit.
You eat the movie?
Yes, you're ingesting this greatness. And like, oh man, and so like also while this is going on, they're like, hey, we got to take the stones back so Thanos can't get them. So Hope and Ant-Man are trying to get the
little quantum tunnel in their van.
Yeah, back together. And so it's a hot potato thing, primarily with Spider-Man. He's like, I got it. And he, the Iron Spider legs, and he's throwing it. He's riding Valkyrie, riding the horse.
Riding the Pegasus.
Riding the horse with Valkyrie. He's catching stuff. Oh, Mantis is there, and she don't really do nothing. But
Mantis and Drax.
Yeah, so, it's just cool.
It's the one scene that, Thanos has his ships, they're firing on the army, and then all of a sudden the guns turn towards the sky, they're shooting in the sky. You're like, what could they be firing at? And you see Captain Marvel come out there glowing like a Super Saiyan, smashing through the ship. She comes and just start blasting the army, and you're like, this is what we needed. This is the Captain Marvel we wanted.
Yeah, so again, shout out to the Russo brothers. No offense to the directors of Captain Marvel, or maybe offense, but the Russo brothers knew how to make her relevant, make her cool, and give her the oxygen she needed to be this strong powerhouse. What? I don't know. But shout out to the Russos. They gave Captain Marvel the scenes to put in that work. So she's there, and she's like, give me that dang gauntlet spider witch. And so she's like, I'm about to get gauntlet, and Thanos is like, you and what army? Or something like that. And she was like, me and what army, you say?
None of these words were spoken in the movie.
Okay,
He's
but
making stuff up right now.
And so then, just like in Infinity War, Okoye comes, Scarlet Witch. Back to Scarlet Witch. Scarlet Witch was straight wrecking Thanos, dog.
Oh man, she is mad because Vision's not coming back. He is dead, and she's she got the powers and she is going in on Thanos. She almost killed him by herself.
Scarlet Witch, another powerhouse. But so it's just Scarlet Witch, Okoye. Then it's like all the women of the MCU, like they just line up. Great, homage to women, great homage to all the girls out there, all the women out there, and it wasn't like in your face. It was just a nice scene, and
possibly setting up for the all-female Avengers movie they're trying to push out.
A-Force, I've read 4 of the comics, huh? Okay, but like it's just like, oh man, nice dope scene, and then out of nowhere, freaking rescue comes Pepper Potts herself.
Gwyneth Paltrow in here.
She comes, and so then the ladies just start wrecking, boom, boom, boom. Captain Marvel with the running back skills, doom, 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 and then
she's flying.
She's flying, and then Iron Man and Thor, and so Thanos is like, I'm tired of this. Throws his sword and blows up the van. So now the quantum manipulator thing is done, and they're like, oh no. He gets the gauntlet, and then right when he's about to snap again, Captain Marvel stops him. And so he's like, get off of me. And so she's wrecking him, and then he hitbusts her, and she's like, oh really? He's like, yeah, really. Takes out the Power Stone, straight smashes her, dog. And then
this is it. You want to talk emotions? Taylor Swift featuring Ed Sheeran in the future.
Cut.
So this is it. This is where the emotions really let loose. Iron Man, he sees Thanos. He's about to snap again. So Iron Man, he comes through. He's fighting Thanos. He's putting up his best fight. And Thanos, he's monologuing. I am inevitable. You can't defeat me. Blah, 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 whatever he's saying. And he goes to snap. And then you look, the stones are gone from his gauntlet. Iron Man has taken the stones, put them in his own Iron Man suit, created another gauntlet, and then he snaps. And
Whoa, hold up. Before that, Thanos says, I am inevitable. And Iron Man says, I am Iron Man. And the power comes up. Iron Man burns his arm, burns his face, and Iron Man just
and then you're like, well, what did Iron Man snap away? And you just see the Chitauri disintegrating, the Outriders disintegrating, the Black Order disintegrating, but Thanos just kind of looking around, and you're like, man, is Thanos not? Dog. You got to get Thanos.
He's inevitable.
Thanos sits down and he starts to fade away. He gets dusted, and what a fitting end to just an amazing villain. An amazing character.
Yeah. And there's still an inkling of hope. Tony Stark is not dead. He's bleeding. He's dazed. But Rhodey's there trying to, you going to make it, Tony. You going to make it. Spider-Man. Oh, man. I miss you. I'm Spider-Man. And then, Pepper Potts comes. She's like, get out of my way, Spider-Man. What are you doing? And so, previously in the movie, when he was contemplating doing the time travel, time heist, and he was contemplating like, hey, I don't want to lose my daughter that I have. I got a good scenario now, and she was like, Tony, you need some rest, and so she's there, she's staying strong for him. She's like, Tony, you can rest now,
and it's just
he dies.
Extremely sad death, but I just want to look at the comparison between him and Thanos. I feel like those were the two main characters of, I think it's one movie. Infinity Wars and Endgame is just one long 5.5 hour movie. These have been the two main characters. Thanos, he said, after I bring balance, I'm going to rest. And Iron Man, once he finally defeats Thanos, he gets his own rest. It's just very moving, very...
Poetic.
Yeah, poetic justice. And, man, this is the moment I cried a couple of tears. I've always been Team Iron Man ever since Iron Man 1. He's been one of my favorite characters, and he's just gone.
Yeah, but it's not all bad. It's a rewarding send off. This is a rewarding tie-in to all the previous movies, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. It's like, sure, you're sad, but it's like, wow, that like was refreshing. I am content. I am content with where the MCU is going to go from here. There's no end credit scenes, but this movie, Peter Parker, he goes off with Ned. He's in school, far from home after that. Thor goes off with the Guardians of the Galaxy.
Asgardians of the Galaxy.
Asgardians. And, everything else. Captain America, he time traveled.
Don't just rush through this. This is the end of an era. Captain America, the first Avenger, he goes back in time. He's gonna deliver the stones back, and they're like, all right, he should come back now, but he doesn't come back. You're like, what's going on? And you see off in the distance, it's this old man sitting there. Turns out Captain America, he went back in time. He got his one last dance, #D Wade, so he could dance with his best gal, Peggy Carter.
So while the questions of time travel are there, did he actually put the stones back? Who knows? But it's a great ending. He hands the mantle to Falcon. So Black Captain America, Hawkeye's with his family, Ant-Man's with his daughter and Hope and all them. And it's just a great movie. It's a great experience, and I'm ready for what the MCU has next. We know that the X-Men could be coming, Fantastic Four could be coming, Eternals, Shang-Chi, Galactus, Annihilus,
Black Panther 2, Doctor Strange 2, it's just...
Doctor Doom's available, so it's just so much possibility, but I just think they set the bar so high on this one. This is almost pure perfection.
It's the end of an era, but also the beginning of an era.
Most def.
Out of the ashes, the Phoenix will rise. Not Dark Phoenix, movie looks like garbage, but just can't wait to see what comes next. Deuce and Ace, we're gonna bro to see whatever comes out.
We sure are, and you can bro see it with us if that makes sense. But be sure to like, subscribe, share, follow us on Twitter, hit us up in the comments, let us know what you'd like for us to review next.
Yeah, we'll give you a shout out in the videos if you want to be in a video
in the DC metropolitan area.
Yeah, you just got to live near us. We'll come to you, talk about some movies, see what you think. And
I'm Deuce.
I'm Ace,
and this has been Deuce and Ace, Bro to the Movies. Out.